Hello, it's Saturday the 26th of December. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story this evening, Korea is reportedly considering whether to move a statue honouring the victims of Japan's wartime sexual enslavement of Korean women and girls. The statue currently stands across from Tokyo's embassy in Seoul. A local civic group has lashed out, saying if the report turns out to be true, it will cause a major controversy in Korea. Hwang Jie starts us off.
Installed in 2011, the statue of a girl in Korean dress has been facing the Japanese embassy for around 4 years. But the location of the statue appears to be up for discussion as Seoul and Tokyo gear up for talks on resolving the matter once and for all at a foreign ministers' meeting slated for Monday. Japan's biggest newspaper, Yomiuri Shimbun, reported Saturday, citing sources within the Korean government, that Korea might consider relocating the statue. However, the paper added that the relocation would only happen if the Japanese government agrees to conditions deemed acceptable to Seoul to settle the long-standing comfort woman dispute. It went on to say that if progress is made during the ministers' talks, Korea will attempt to convince civic groups to move the statue to a memorial park near Mount Namsan in central Seoul. A Korean civic group representing the victims has slammed the idea of relocating the statue. The co-representative of the group said the government, the victims, and the civic group have been working to resolve the issue together, and if the report turns out to be true, it will spur major division within the country. She added the Japanese ambassador to Korea should visit the statue to commemorate it and make an official government-level apology for Japan's wartime atrocities. The latest report is darkening the outlook for the meeting between Korea's Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se and his Japanese counterpart Fumio Kishida. The upcoming meeting had raised hopes for a breakthrough on an issue that hampered Korea-Japan ties for years. About 200,000 women, mainly from Korea, were forced into sexual enslavement by Japan's military before and during World War II. Hwang Jie, Arirang News.
Now, the floor leaders of Korea's ruling and main opposition parties have started talks aimed at reaching common ground so lawmakers can pass a slew of pending bills by the end of the year. The rival parties aim to narrow their differences on labour reform bills, bills to improve the nation's business environment and more. Ruling Saenuri Party floor leader Won Yu-chol said that he hopes the 19th National Assembly wraps up this year with the passage of economy-related bills deemed crucial as Korea is facing uncertainties like the US rate hike that happened recently and plunging global oil prices. Floor leader of the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy, Lee Jong-gol, however, blamed the ruling party for the delayed passage, saying the party is making zero concessions. US President Barack Obama has invited ASEAN leaders to California for a summit early next year. A spokesman for the US National Security Council says the summit, which will take place at a luxury retreat called Sunnylands, would continue important conversations about the Asia-Pacific region. A specific date has yet to be set, but some media outlets are speculating the two-day summit will happen around mid-February. The Sunnylands resort is where Obama met with Chinese President Xi Jinping for informal talks in 2013. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made a surprise stopover in Pakistan on his way home from Russia. It was the first visit by an Indian leader to Pakistan in almost 12 years. Pakistan's Foreign Secretary told media in Lahore that Modi and Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif met in a pleasant atmosphere. He added that both leaders were keen to build up a peaceful relationship. Now, tensions between India and Pakistan, who have fought 3 wars over the last 60 years, have long threatened peace in South Asia. India has been upset with Pakistan for what it argues is its support for Taliban leaders in Afghanistan. The two countries also have long-standing tensions over Kashmir. Now, one of the most senior rebels in Syria has been killed on the outskirts of Damascus in what activists said was a Russian airstrike. Zaran Alush is the most prominent rebel leader to have been killed since the start of Russian airstrikes in Syria. Syrian state media confirmed the 44-year-old leader of Jaish al-Islam and 5 of his commanders were killed during a raid on the group's secret headquarters in the city's eastern suburbs. Now, if you've been to the mountains in Busan or on Jeju Island, you may have walked past some of pieces of the Earth's environmental history. Now, many of these natural formations are housed in Korea's Geoparks, with over 100 geological sites in 6 regions around the country. Our Park Se-young has the details.
This Gabbro rock was designated as Korea's 267th natural monument in 1980. It was the first Gabbro rock discovered in Asia and is located on Mount Hwangryong in Busan. Gabbro rocks are normally difficult to spot, but this one's round shape makes it unique. It was created when magma slowly solidified in the Earth's lower crust 85 million years ago. These are just some of the natural treasures held by Korea's national geoparks, created to preserve the country's geological heritage. The cliffs at Igide, another geopark in Busan, were created by volcanic activity 70 million years ago and were carved into their present shape by waves. The park also contains the sea cave, which was originally underwater but became visible when the land rose, and these potholes once mistaken for dinosaur footprints. Korea designated its first geopark in 2012, and now there are 6 around the country, with a 7th one pending designation.
The Geopark system aims to educate and provide tour destinations, offering a picture of the Earth's history.
Koreans became familiar with the concept of geoparks when geological sites on Jeju Island received recognition as UNESCO Global Geoparks back in 2010. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now, being alone during the holiday season can be extremely tough, especially if you don't have your family or friends around. But if you happen to be in Seoul between this month and mid-January, there's a special event that invites you to party with some robots. Our Won Ji-yeon tells us more.
Here's a bartender that will mix you the perfect drink. And this little guy full of cool tricks could become your favorite drinking buddy.
The robot seems to be in a good mood since it keeps on dancing. I think this robot will help me cheer up on bad days.
And if you want to relax watching a good film, simply ask this teddy bear robot.
Show me a movie.
You can meet all of these robot friends and more at the robot party down at the Art Center Nabi Museum in Seoul. This Convergence Festival offers people a chance to build an emotional connection with artificial intelligence. The event features more than 50 different robots made by international creators from various fields.
The event gave us an opportunity to freely create whatever we could think of. Rather than the robot's anatomy on the inside, we focus more on its looks on the outside and the way it interacts with people.
The robot party will stay open to public from 1 to 8 p.m. on weekdays until January 16th. Won Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Now, 5 big banks in Korea plan to close more than 100 branches next year as more consumers are doing their banking online. Sources in the industry say Korea's second biggest lender, Uri Bank, is planning to close up to 40 of its 958 outlets across the country in 2016. NH Nonghyop Bank is preparing to shut 20 next year but open 10 new branches in new locations. The nation's biggest lender, KB Gungmin Bank, plans to close 23 branches next year due to unprofitability. Shinhan Bank and KB Hana Bank will also close an undisclosed number of branches for the same reason. Now, Beijing is getting some highly anticipated relief from the severe smog that has blanketed the Chinese capital for days now. The bad news for the city's residents is that the smog will be back and as bad as before from Monday. It's expected to linger until at least the end of the year as well. Beijing had a toxic smog version of a white Christmas on Friday. The US Embassy in the city said counts of PM 2.5, those tiny particles that get deep into your lungs and are very unhealthy, it actually peaked at 620 micrograms per cubic meter in Beijing on Christmas Day. The World Health Organization says the safe level is 25 micrograms, so Beijing was almost 25 times higher than the safe point. Now, finally, leaving you with a brief look at the weather here in Korea. And it's going to be a bitterly cold night across Korea's central region on this Saturday night. In Seoul, the mercury is going to drop to a bone-chilling -10 degrees Celsius overnight. Sunday is also going to be very cold but clear and sunny, so that's good news. The high in the capital tomorrow is not forecast to breach the freezing point. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday, wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back again with our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. Till then, goodbye.